Good day. We have you back. Partially because you do, I wouldn't say unique, but unique in the mainstream. It's not unique to me because I grew up in the vegetarian world and, well, eating whole foods, right? And so your whole culture and your whole, I don't know what you would call it, spirit is eating correctly. Or
well,
that sounds pompous. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, for the most part, as far as meals go, yeah, I'm trying
eating
to
as simple as possible.
simply and yeah, as close to whole foods as possible, limited ingredients.
So what we're making today is not super simple, in that you actually have to cook stuff. Although, like,
Just
I don't know if I should call it nut sauce. That sounds really nasty. Or even cheese sauce. I really like, I don't like comparing vegan food to other foods.
Yeah, I agree. Just calling it a cashew sauce or cashew cream or something like that is fine.
And I mean, I've had that in other cultures. They don't consider it, vegan. It's a sauce. You make it and you use it. So I'm very intrigued to make that. So today you're reaching out there and you're going to do 4 things.
Yeah.
Right.
So we are going to make a firmer cheese from the potatoes and carrots. And that will set up after we're finished. I think it'll take longer than the hour that we're doing, but we will put that together first. And then, the cashew cream, and then 2 dressings. One is just an herb vinaigrette, and I'm gonna share a little trick that I learned to help to combine the oil and the vinegar a little bit better. And then peanut dressing, like a Thai spicy peanut dressing. So first we're going to, if you're going to make the herb vinaigrette, you'll want to chill your oil. So this is half a cup of olive oil, half a cup of avocado oil, and I'm going to throw it in the fridge.
Okay. Well, last night was like super cold and I didn't heat my kitchen. So I do know that it's below 78 degrees because this coconut oil is solid.
You got some solid
coconut oil solidifies.
I mean, so this is kind of the trick. So the trick to blending your oil with your vinegar in a dressing like this is chill the oil.
Okay. So I will do that.
So I'm just putting that into my fridge.
Now, what was your preference of oil?
I used half olive oil and half avocado oil.
Okay.
But really whatever you like to use for your dressings, whatever is just
I
fine.
managed to get some oil. A friend of mine has an olive orchard in California, and I was able to get like 2 bottles of pressings from them, but I'm not using it in this dressing because I just drizzle it on just a little something.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
Never had like super fresh, I don't know, super good olive oil. I guess while you get going there, I'm going to go over the ingredients I have here.
Okay.
The main ingredient for the nuts was I got my cashews, and I was able to get them super cheap because they're like the broken ones.
Oh yeah.
If you get like the whole ones, it was like almost $16 a pound. This was less than $5 a pound, which is just fine because and then these are I don't think they're raw, but they're not that super toasted ones. So I love cashews.
We can't, I mean, to say raw cashews is actually a false claim anyway, because in order to process the cashews, they have to steam them.
Okay.
So there's really no such thing as a raw cashew, but yeah, as far as like roasting and salting and stuff like that, that's additional processing that for this recipe you'd want to avoid.
Now,
the
can you
additional
use any other kind of nut for it? I mean,
Sure, you can.
but this nut tends to be creamier and less flavor.
Right. And it has a little sweetness to it. It has, a good amount of fat to make it really creamy. And so for that, the prep for that, we're just going to take a cup of the cashews and put them in a bowl and cover them with hot water.
Now, does it have to be super hot, or like coming out of the sink is hot enough?
I heated mine on the stove, to be honest.
Yeah, because coming out of the sink is about 110 degrees, so you do want some
I
heat.
think you'll be okay with that. I think you'll be okay with just hot.
Otherwise, like,
yeah, that's fine.
I'll give this water just about a minute boil, or a minute on the heat, and that'll get it some heat. And your basic recipe, you're doing a cup of nuts, right?
Yeah, a cup of cashews. Just we're gonna soak them and set them aside in their water to sit.
Oh, well, I it's essential that you eat one or two of the nuts while you're doing this.
Okay.
All right. Let me put my water here. See, I just had a little bit of water in there, so it heated right up real quick. All right. Set those nuts aside.
All right, so our next prep is actually for our herb vinaigrette as well. We're gonna go ahead and chop up our shallot. Well, slice up the shallot.
Shallot or onion?
Yeah,
got
shallot or red onion is great. That's fine.
So one thing your recipe said, it was like parsley or cilantro or green.
Yeah.
For me, I always get mustard greens.
Nice.
I don't know what it is. You get a lot more, and I'll just use like one.
Okay.
But whenever it calls, like, not always, but a lot of times when something calls for it, I don't know. I like.
That's gonna bring a really nice flavor too.
Let's see. Yeah, I'll just do like, I don't know. That's something I prefer. But, and of course, you have to have nutritional yeast. So.
Well, yeah, that's one thing that I thought might come up in our conversation is, I think that's probably the most expensive thing on our ingredients list. It's also probably tough to find in some areas, I would imagine. I have no idea what around the world the access to nutritional yeast might be. So I've been considering like what alternatives can you use if you don't have nutritional yeast? And one thing that's come up is miso.
Oh yeah. Oh, I think before I get into anything, I probably should start cooking these potatoes and carrots.
Oh, well, okay. I am just going to marinate this shallot and then I'm gonna do my potatoes and carrots.
Got it.
Or I wanted to say that thanks for I have the same nutritional yeast that you have because you sent it to me. So thank you.
Nutritional yeast. I actually, where I grew up in Tennessee, there was a place, a little hippie place that actually made this in a lab. So this is nutritional yeast is actually a live food product. But basically it's got a cheesy, nutty flavor to it. But if you're like really vegan, it has essential B12.
Yeah.
That you don't get very much unless you eat copious amounts of unwashed greens, right? Is that because it's natural in dirt, but our lifestyle is so super clean that most people don't get it, aren't exposed to it.
Right, right. So I'm just adding my shallot to a bowl, and I'm going to cover it with the vinegar that I'm using. I will be doing apple cider vinegar.
All right, so I got behind you talking too much. I need to chop my onion up and put some vinegar.
So
I
that,
guess it also matters what time of the year. Like mustard greens this time of the year actually grow where I live versus most other greens are not. So
yeah, right. All right.
okay.
Now I just peeled my potatoes.
Again, you're just marinating the onion in some apple cider vinegar. Now, did you say you make your own vinegar?
I do make my own apple cider vinegar, because we make our own apple juice and apple sauce. And so, anytime I have apple scraps, I'm just throwing them into a bucket and filling it with water. And
So when you're saying apple scraps, if I just save like the apple peels and cores and stuff when I'm cooking stuff, is that what you mean?
yes, absolutely. And I haven't had this experience just because the amount of apples that I'm processing every fall gives me a 5-gallon bucket of scraps. But if you don't use apples very often, you could certainly freeze them and then come back. I think it would work just fine to freeze them and then make your vinegar after you've collected some.
I think if you stop the process in the beginning, you end up with, what do they call it? Applejack, like, which is like an alcohol. But
so you think freezing would?
No, just if you can stop the brewing process, the fermenting process.
Oh yeah, if you stop it at alcohol before it turns to vinegar.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah.
I was just mentioning that. So
What are we supposed to do with these onions?
We are just chopping, dicing our onion, and it's going in with, well, it depends. I'm sorry. The shallot or red onion for the herb dressing is what I have marinating in apple cider vinegar.
Yep.
The potato cheese also calls for onion. And so right now I'm just dicing that, and it will go into the pot with carrot and potato. So
yeah, I'm gonna do 2 batches. I'll do a small batch in my stovetop and then a big batch in the pressure cooker. So onions, we're chopping up onions and carrots and potatoes, right?
that's correct. That's what we need in our pot. And that is the only cooking we're gonna do today.
So why do you call this cheese? I guess it is a block and it is orange, right?
Well, yeah, we're gonna use the turmeric to kind of color it yellow. And then the carrot will also impart some color. Well, I think it's probably just that we're using it in place of cheese. Like, yeah, it's not fermented. It's not a dairy product, obviously, but we are using it as you would a cheese. I guess that's why we refer to it as vegan cheese.
Just like that. All right. Doesn't matter what size, I guess, because we're gonna cook this and then mush it
Yeah,
up. So,
it really doesn't matter because we're just blending it to very fine afterwards anyway.
all right. So I guess I could start my pot of water while I'm pulling stuff up. That's always something I always did when I was making a soup or a stew. I just put the pot of water on, and then I would cut up the stuff that takes the longest, put it in the pot first. And usually right about the time I was done cutting everything up,
Your water's ready. That's
the water would start boiling. One vegetable that I've always bought organic has been carrots. I don't know why. I just always felt like
yeah.
it tastes so much better.
Root vegetables really do. It does make a difference.
And then of course, fruits that are water intensive, like strawberries, tend to soak up a lot of pesticides. So
Right, and a lot are used on them just because we're not the only ones that like strawberries.
I'm getting a little shadow. I have a tubular skylight, a solar powered tubular skylight right above me, and the sun just came out. That's that shadow coming above me. I hit.
I see that.
It's just like the sun came out. So, all right. So, I wonder what this would compare to. I'm trying to extrapolate what I think this is going to taste like.
Wow.
Just like, I like eating carrots. I was able to get, they had them on sale, some fresh limes. I think Jane says she can just walk out her front door and get a lime or an orange.
Yeah, we have a lime tree outside. I got, they are little limes, but I have 2 little limes.
But, my grandfather had a lime tree in his front yard that he grafted every other citrus on it. As a kid, I thought it was a magic tree because it had grapefruit and limes and lemons and what other citrus can you have?
That is so cool. Have you seen the Tree of 40 Fruits or?
No.
So same concept except pits, stone fruits.
Okay.
So different varieties of cherries and apples and plums and apricots and peaches and all on the same tree. And in the spring, it's just so gorgeous, all the different flowers.
Well, I do know that we've got a lot of peach and apple orchards near where I live, and they actually have to graft. The root is a wild apple, and then they graft another fruit tree to it because there's some kind of fungus that actually can't grow like regular apples, that the root has to be a wild apple tree or some specific type of apple. So every apple tree around here is actually grafted onto another. All right. I'm making way too much here. put a whole bag of it. I forgot what the basic recipe was.
For our
I have a-
potato cheese?
Yeah, 1 cup potatoes. 'Cause I have a hard time making small batches of anything, so.
Oh, I don't think you'll be sorry you have extra.
Well, anyway, the water is, see the water starting to simmer and I just dropped the potato in it. So. Now, I guess as much as I say I don't like prepping things ahead of time, I did rinse these potatoes beforehand. So you're just in the colander. Just when I took them out of the bag.
I'm kind of getting the rest of my ingredients started here. Juice of half of a lemon. I'm gonna,
Let's see, we have, I guess we have to do a whole lemon because we've got 2 different recipes.
yeah, yep. At least, I think that, yeah, well, you can put lemon in 3 of them, but yeah, this one definitely is gonna need a little lemon juice that helps bring out that kind of faux cheese sourness.
Oh, cheese sourness.
Yeah.
I never think of, but that's true. I mean, it is a, well, that's probably too big of a chop.
I mean, the simplest way to make a cheese is to use either a vinegar or a lemon juice with your milk to sour it.
It's true. I mean, like traditional farmstead cheese was basically sour milk.
Yeah.
So, all right.
I did.
Now I could save, last week we made marmalade. I could just save this lemon and make some marmalade based on it.
Oh, yeah.
But I guess it would be a little different because, well, then I'd use jarred lemon juice instead of fresh. I don't know if that'd be as good. But figure out ways, candied. I just like to figure out ways to not waste things.
Yeah, the candied peels are great too. And every once in a while, I mean, I like to throw 1 or 2 into my veggie stock bag.
Oh, the actual lemon?
Yeah, just the lemon peel.
Yeah, everything I've been cutting here except the little bits of potato I toss in there. Sometimes I'll put the potato in too, but usually with potato you're only cutting off the bad spot, so I don't want to throw that in this.
Right.
Potatoes is good for thickening. All right, so this is boiling away. My onions, carrots, and potatoes. And I did manage to get a couple fresh jalapenos, but then I also grabbed a can of jalapenos, just depending on how spicy I want it, I guess.
Oh yeah. You could use those in this one. The cashew cheese calls for chilies or spicy pepper. You can certainly add them to anything you want.
All right, is anybody confused? Because we're working on 4 different recipes all simultaneously almost. So I will, the first one I'll cut and paste it into the chat here is the potato and carrot firm cheese, which is the onions and potatoes and carrots that we're boiling. And then we probably won't get that one finished because that has to take a little while to set, but we'll get it started.
Mhm.
And then the one I'm very intrigued by is the cashew nacho cheese sauce.
Mhm.
Which people from the Midwest love nacho cheese. I could take it or leave it, but I've had a similar cheese sauce from the Middle East that was like really good, so.
Oh, cool.
Lindsay, for the hard cheese, are we supposed to be boiling everything, including the beans and the nutritional yeast, or just the vegetables?
Just the vegetables. Just the vegetables have to be softened from cooking, and everything else is just going to go straight into our blender. Or if you have a food processor, that should work fine too.
Of course, if your beans aren't cooked, you have to cook them. But I tend to love cooking beans, but this time I just grabbed a can of white beans.
I'm using a can today too. And it's just a half a cup out of this can, so we'll be having beans tonight in our supper, whatever that is.
I really like beans. They're just like, I don't know.
If you are already at least doubling this recipe, you should be fine using a whole can too.
All right, so I got a lemon squeezed. My little kitchen's running out of space here.
Yeah.
I've been thinking of getting one of those. I just forgot what they're called. Maybe Fred can remind me. Induction plates.
Induction cooktops, induction. Yeah, I've been thinking
That'll give me
about it
another cooking surface that I can cook either on my shelf right over here or on the little kitchen table.
That's what I use when I cook outside the.
Ooh, I could even
house.
cook outside. That's true. I could
Yeah,
have a
that's what
summer
I did
kitchen.
with it. Mhm.
My mom has a solar oven. She actually has two, so she does most, like, I don't know, probably 8 months of the year. She cooks everything outside the house in her solar cooker, so she's not heating the house. She's like, why would I use heat to heat the house and then more energy to cool with air conditioner when I can just cook outside?
Are you still chopping vegetables, or should I?
Well, no, I mean, I'm making a big batch here too, so.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and add the rest of the ingredients to my blender. So while the potato, carrots, and onions are on the stove softening, I'm gonna add the rest of the ingredients. So I've got the juice of half of a lemon. I've got half a cup of white beans. Then 4 tablespoons of nutritional yeast.
I guess I'm so lemon juice. Let's see. I didn't do a very good job of taking the seeds out. This one had a lot of seeds in it.
I have some garlic powder, salt, paprika, and the turmeric. The turmeric is often added to these vegan cheeses, mostly to bring that yellow color out.
I really like turmeric for its anti-inflammatory qualities.
Yeah.
But the one thing, I used to do a lot of turmeric, and I was like, people say it's anti-inflammatory, but it doesn't seem to be. And then I read that you have to couple it with a fat of some sort.
It also works best with black pepper. black pepper makes the curcumin,
Remember that. Because I usually do turmeric. So like I have this blend, just local turmeric and ginger that I ground up. So I should add some.
yeah, add your peppercorns to it.
All right, so measurements. Look in the,
All right,
so
there you go.
potatoes, carrots, onions, some of the broth from boiling the veggies, white beans, nutritional yeast. All right, let me put my nutritional yeast. Yeah, nutritional yeast is like definitely a strong taste. If you could easily put too much on something. I feel like if you don't have the acquired taste.
I put it on popcorn.
Oh yeah, that works really good. It's like, yeah, it's like a powdered cheese that you're putting on there. To me, it has a blend of like a cheese flavor and a nut flavor. It's like
I
nutty.
told you
and
I
cheesy.
just started using a little Marmite on toast with almond butter on it. That's one of my favorite new snacks.
Well, I think that's also the equivalent. I think Marmite
Yeah,
is
it's the same idea. That's it. Yeah, that was the point.
is
Yeah.
the leftovers from brewing. All right, so let's
Exactly.
see. It says 4 tablespoons. So I'm doing a double batch. So 3.
Or I just realized we're gonna cook our thickener as well.
Okay.
Just a cup of water with our agar. And that's 2.5 tablespoons of agar.
So all right, and then turmeric, it says half a teaspoon. So I'm doing the teaspoon. I always make the mistake of not going in order on the recipe, just what's closest, and then I get frustrated with myself.
You lose your place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I just put the wrong lid on the wrong container. They both fit. All right, so far I've got the beans, the nutritional yeast, the lemon. I'll put a little bit of salt. Little salt, garlic powder, paprika, turmeric, and then a cup of water. Oh, so that's where you said you're gonna heat.
Yeah, we're heating that
Thickeners.
cup of water with the 2.5 tablespoons of agar.
Now, is there any other thickener you think?
Yeah,
can be
I
used?
mean, I think that it's possible that arrowroot could work. It could make it kind of, I don't know because I haven't tried it, but I guess.
Potato starch, of course, because we're putting potatoes.
Yeah, potato starch. Yeah, potato starch, maybe tapioca. Yeah, starches and
Well, it's funny. I mean, can we just add more potatoes to it?
yeah, essentially, I think so. I think it would work to do that.
Let's see. We need
I
1
think it would
teaspoon of
require more than 2.5 tablespoons, though. Like it wouldn't be an equal 1-to-1 ratio if you're using potato starch as opposed to agar.
Yeah. All right. Let's see, where's my agar? Apparently I forgot to have something out. Where's my agar?
My vegetables are pretty soft. I realized once I started kind of thinking about what today was gonna look like that at least
Two and a
three
half.
times, I'm going to have to mute so that I can turn on the blender. That
Oh
sounds
yeah, well,
dead.
we get used to that. We did that last week a bunch.
Oh, okay, good.
Jeffrey actually had, we found out that you don't have to mute. It mutes you automatically, but it takes a little while for it to come back on. If it's super,
Like if it's just a really loud noise, it will mute you automatically.
well, that's what happened last week, because Jeffrey would run the blender and then he'd start talking and we couldn't hear him, so.
Oh. All right, well.
All right, so I got my agar-agar. I just like saying it, agar-agar. I guess I should turn the camera so you can see it. Agar-agar. I think you just put that on like the lowest temperature, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to really have.
Well, I mean, you can bring it to a boil, but it's gonna solidify real fast.
Now the potatoes themselves, well, I guess I was gonna say I could mush them, but we're just putting them in the blender. There's no need to.
Yeah.
All right, what other spice do I have missing? I put salt, garlic powder, and paprika.
A little turmeric.
Like I said, I skipped the line and I put that one first.
Oh, okay.
All right, paprika. Let's see, and garlic powder. Well, we'll have to see how it tastes. The only type of paprika I have is smoked, and the only type of garlic I have is roasted garlic.
All right. Hey, I think it's gonna taste great.
Both of those will be just fine. All right. Yeah, I found out if I buy the roasted garlic, I use like a quarter of the garlic, and it only costs a little bit more for a pound of it. Oh, it just says a pinch of. I'll have to show everybody. My friend got me this measuring. So it's this little one is a smidgen. This one's a pinch. This one's a dash. And then this one's a tad. Which they're just, I mean, they're quite literally almost all exactly the same size, but it's just like if something says a pinch, matters how big your fingers are, right?
It does. It does. So, or I'm gonna go ahead and blend what we've got without the agar. Well, that's on the stove, and I'm giving it some attention. I'm coming back. I'm whisking it.
So the potatoes already cooked. I put in there, and you're blending it right now. Is that what you're talking about? Okay.
Yes, I just added my potatoes, onions, and carrots to the beans and lemon juice and spices that we've put in the bottom with our broth. We had a cup of broth, which you could use your veggie broth, or you could use the broth that you've made while simmering these veggies.
Oh yeah, so I need to put, okay.
Yeah,
So-
don't forget to set aside a little bit of broth. If you're doing a double batch, you'll want 2 cups.
Let's see. Then
And
I just
because
have
I'm
garlic
nervous
powder.
about the blender, I'm muting anyway.
Okay, yeah, it's all right. So what do I have left? I think that's all my spices. Let me go double check. Pinched paprika, turmeric, garlic powder, salt, lemon, nutritional yeast, and white beans. That's what I've got in here. And then a cup of water with 2.5 tablespoons of agar-agar is on the stove. All right. So
Oh, wow. So, look at this pretty yellow little bit orangish cheese color going on. And
Dri-
it smells so good.
Are we allowed to taste it at that point?
Oh, sure. Yeah, this you could make a pasta and put this on it. It's maybe a little thinner than what our nacho cheese sauce might come out as, but it's still, you can use it at this stage. Like you don't have to use the firming agent. You could just eat it as it is.
That's what I like. I like less steps. Oh, I just lucked out. The liquid I had left over from cooking was exactly 2 cups. There we go. Let me scrape the last little bit of onions out of here.
The consistency that we're looking for with the agar is kind of molasses. We want it to thicken up.
So I've got everything in here. So you can see there's the white beans, potatoes, onions, carrots, and all the spices. And now I'm going to blend. I'm going to mute me. In the meantime, this agar-agar is thickening here. All right. I'm going to mute myself and blend mine.
Okay.
So when the agar-agar is thick, do we just pour it into the blender and blend it?
Yep. Yep. And then blend it again. Yep. Mine's not quite there yet. I'm still stirring, but it is thickening for sure.
That's beautiful. Oh my God, it smells like cheese.
Yeah.
What? Okay, I was skeptical. I mean, I grew up. We would make basically the only cheese we would make would be like a nutritional, like a gravy with just oil, some garlic, and some nutritional yeast.
Mm. Oh, it's really good.
That tastes like cheese. All
It's
right.
really good. So, or the other consideration that we need is what are we going to put our cheese into for molds?
Okay.
I am using these, oh shoot. No, I just forgot what they're called. The quick release.
Spring pan.
Thank you. Springform pan. Yeah. I've got 2 of these little ones. I'm hoping that my cheese will fit in here, but just looking at my blender and how full it is, I might need to use something else. I'm going to get creative. If you have silicone,
I could make a spring cake.
well, yeah, actually, I just pulled out my bundt pan too, because I thought maybe I'll use this because it's silicone. The silicone.
I can make funny shaped cheese. Look at that.
Oh yeah, that would be wonderful. Because then you could just pop it out upside down, and it will be like a beautiful. It almost look like a fancy cantaloupe in the middle of a plate, of a cheese plate or something.
Huh. So now I haven't added the agar-agar. It's still simmering.
Yeah, mine's simmering too. It's thickening though.
Figure out what container to put it in, huh? All right, how thick does this actually have to be thick? Because it's simmering, but still not really that thick.
Yeah, mine's not thick enough to my liking yet. I'm still going with that one.
Now I've got this mini little food processor. I could probably do these nuts in that, but I love this big blender.
Is that a Vitamix?
It's actually more commercial. I got it in an auction from a smoothie place.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
So it doesn't have, it has two settings, low and high, and then it has a button that you can like pulsate it, that you can hit, but that's it. But it's a 3.5 horsepower. So it's just like, I think twice what a Vitamix is. But anyway.
Oh, yeah.
So for the nuts though, I have this little teeny like food processor. I don't know. I could probably do it in there because we're only making a cup of nuts. So
Yeah, but your food processor holds more than a cup. Because you're gonna add your chilies and lemon juice and
okay, so I need to chop up these
really like
hot
when
peppers.
I make I make my cashew cheese. I just always have it on hand. So, and I'm only making a cup at a time, but it will make almost a quart of cheese.
Okay, so a cup of nuts will make almost a quart of cheese.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm putting a fresh jalapeno in there.
Oh, yeah.
So let's see. What can we work on now? All right,
Well, the only recipe that does not require our Vitamix would be the peanut sauce.
all right.
I'm happy to.
What do you put the peanut sauce on?
Well, so if you thin it out, then it makes this wonderful peanut dressing. And that's kind of what we're going for today. But if you just don't water it down at all, you can use it for any appetizers that you have, spring rolls, or other things that you dip into peanut sauce that are
What is it? The Japanese noodles? Those are always good.
yeah, absolutely. You could make it a little thicker for like a noodle dish. All right, my agar is thickening finally.
I didn't do a very good job. Again, I wasn't paying attention and I put all the lemon seeds in here. Come on, do better next time.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and start prepping another half of the lemon.
All right, so I got juice from half a lemon. Which one are we on working on now?
Would you like to move to the peanut sauce because our blenders are occupied?
All right.
Okay, peanut sauce.
So in peanut sauce, just 5 ingredients: peanut butter, tamari, rice vinegar, grated ginger, and some minced garlic.
Yeah, I'm gonna start with my garlic and ginger.
Now, is there any other nut butter that you? Some people are allergic to peanuts, so I guess you could use what, almond or cashew butter.
Yeah, or even sunflower seed would work in this one. Tahini even would be nice, which is a sesame seed butter.
I don't know what it is about tahini that I don't like.
I made a really nice tahini Caesar, not last night, but the night before. It was satisfying in the Caesar department.
Where's my list? I almost forgot my agar-agar. Getting thick here.
Yes, thank you for the reminder.
All right, so we just need a couple cloves of garlic. Wait, is it possible to only put a couple cloves of garlic in anything?
You put as much as you want in here. Now, keep in mind, it's not going to be heated at all. So the heat of the garlic is gonna bring up the heat of the whole dish.
So yeah,
What can we use as a substitute if we don't have tamari?
Do you have any soy sauce?
that's
Yes, I have soy sauce.
Soy sauce is fine. Yep. Tamari is soy sauce that is made without wheat. So soy sauce is just fine. It's exactly the same. It just has a different process for fermentation.
it's just straight soy, not soy and wheat.
And we are just
Oh, wait.
putting all these ingredients together.
That's right. We're just mixing them all together. Yep, they all go in the same bowl, or I'm using just my measuring cup.
I was thinking I just put it right into a pint jar.
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
Then it's stored in the fridge. It's like, but it has to be a wide mouth because I found the narrow mouths are too hard to stir very well.
Mm-hmm.
That's just my preference. So again, half a cup of peanut butter. Ooh, that's a lot. Who was I talking to? Oh, a friend of mine in Germany, and they said they do not tend to eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, or the peanut butter they come across is only like gourmet. So it's not something they use very frequently. I was like, ooh.
Well,
Half a cup peanut butter, 2 tablespoons tamari. Use your tamari today. 2 tablespoons. I always double check because I always get confused with teaspoons and tablespoons. I like when they actually write out the word in a recipe because it'll say TSP or TBS. I don't know. All right. And then 2 tablespoons rice vinegar. I once, at the beginning of the pandemic, I did a cleaning of my kitchen and I found out I had like 11 different kinds of vinegar. I was just like, and it wasn't kinds, 11 different containers of vinegar. So I was just like, I need to use up and consolidate. So now I just have like, I just buy like them in a gallon. I have like an apple cider, rice vinegar. Now I don't see the other ones. Oop. So
balsamic. You have a balsamic?
the one I've been trying to find is like the balsamic reduction sauce where it's already reduced.
Thicker.
I really like that sauce, but I don't like making it. I just like having a jar of it and you just pour a little bit. All right.
And I'm just gonna throw this out there. I usually put sriracha in this peanut sauce, and I know you're a fan. of a little spice. Now you can use one of your, you can use part of your jalapeno, or you can use a different type of hot sauce that you like. But I am gonna add just a little bit. I mean, I use a half a teaspoon or less, just because not everybody.
Now I noticed on this, almost every peanut sauce I've seen has sugar in it, or a sweetener. Now I guess the rice vinegar is slightly sweet, but overall there's not. Okay, so now I need grated ginger and the minced garlic.
Okay, or my agar is ready, so I'm gonna go ahead and blend my cheese and pour it into my molds.
Okay, yeah, mine is too.
Potatoes, so.
So you just,
And then we'll just come back, and all we have to do is mix that together.
I guess if we both, well, we both mute at the same time, people have to survive.
Mm-hmm.
So.
All right.
But yeah, I tasted this and I was really surprised because I was just like, we didn't put anything in here to me that seems cheesy, but it tastes and smells like cheese. And I love cheese, but all right. Quick blend.
All right, I am back, and my cheese
And
sauce
try
is.
these funny. All right, let me taste it again. See if the taste changed.
If I don't have rice vinegar, is it better to substitute with balsamic vinegar or with apple cider vinegar?
I would use the apple cider. The balsamic's gonna have a different flavor. Yeah. Apple cider vinegar should be fine for that. Or if you have lemon or lime juice, you can substitute the lemon or lime juice. That would also be really, really great in this peanut recipe. And I'm pouring.
So when you pour this out, do you then put it in the fridge for a long time, or?
Yeah, we're gonna put it in the fridge for a couple hours. 2.5, maybe even 3 hours. We'll just have to check it.
All right, so that ended up in 4 different molds.
Oh my
I did
goodness.
it. Well, I did a double batch.
I am right, and I'm filling.
Mine has already set because I accidentally dropped my lime and it just landed on it and like rolling around.
Oh my goodness, it's already set. That's wonderful. Well, maybe we can unveil one of these before the end of the show.
All right.
I am gonna set mine in the fridge.
I mean, I'm supposed to wash this, but I'm like cleaning it out with a spoon. Mm-hmm. So considering this was primarily potatoes and carrots, it's surprisingly none of that really has the flavor sticking out too much. So let's see. The blender now is ready for the nut butter.
No, the nut butter won't go in there. Oh, the cashews.
Yeah, the cashew.
The cashew will.
All right, so I need to mince a couple garlics.
Hmm. Wow. That I did did not realize that the cheese recipe was gonna make so much. The potato one. I
So
now
was-
have 3 vessels of cheese.
How do you, this nut sauce, well, I guess I needed to, it's probably because this peanut butter is too cold. It's really thick in here. That it's not,
Well, and part of, oh yeah, yep, that does look thick.
yeah, I think I just need to let that nut butter warm up, that it's too cold.
I have all of my.
I'll just put it on the stove there and let it warm up a little bit. All right, we are on the nut cheese, right?
Well, let's go ahead. Oh yeah, you're warming up your peanut butter.
Yeah, it's too thick to stir it.
Okay.
Oh,
I
I
am-
suppose I could be forced to warm it up on a pan, but
I'm gonna wash my blender out.
yeah, so I rinsed it out. Ooh, these cashews like turned almost gray. I wonder why. Did I drop something in it? I don't know. Kind of a funny color. And then I've got, so that's the other recipe.
Back.
All
All
right.
right, so if we are ready to strain your cashews, drain the water off, take the water off and just discard that water.
Okay, I don't save that water at all.
No, I wouldn't. Yeah, the thing about cashews is that the fruit that they grow on is actually really toxic. And
I was
so-
looking at this water is kind of dirty.
Yeah,
I was
that's
surprised.
why-
I was like, I've been eating these. Why is it so dirty looking?
Yeah, I don't use the water from the cashews. Now, other nuts, I'm not so picky about that, but cashews I strain. All right,
So
cashews. One.
cashews in the blender.
Yeah, yep, cashews in the blender, and I'm doing a clove of garlic.
It's
And
interesting because in India, they make an alcohol out of the cashew nut fruit called a cashew nut feni. So,
that, yeah, I would be interested in trying some of that. Boy.
I thought you just said it was poisonous.
Right, well, so they're fermenting it. She said it's an alcohol.
yep.
Oh, okay, so yeah.
But I've
So
also
it's-
I've also eaten the cashew nut, the fruit. It's very tasty. It tastes like a pear.
So, well, I don't live in a place that
Maybe it's
grows
in huge
cashews.
quantities, I don't know.
So I don't actually have firsthand knowledge. I only know what I've heard about cashew processing, which is that the
Right.
fruit causes blisters and a toxic reaction on the skin.
What I've heard is that the fruit itself, which is called the cashew apple, is fine. It's an edible fruit, but the nut hangs off the end of the cashew apple, and the covering around the nut is toxic.
The covering around the nut. Okay, that is
Ah,
more
that's
more
interesting.
specific.
All right, so I've got the cashews in here, a couple cloves of garlic,
About your spices, your chili powder, your onion powder.
Let's see, my lime and my chopped up jalapenos.
Yes.
And then in my case, I'm using mustard greens, but a green.
What did I?
Do we put greens in this one?
No, I don't think so.
No, that was the herb dressing.
Yeah, you're
I almost put it in there.
Yeah, I had to check. I'm like, what did I put in?
So
What does
this one is
green chili?
one cup of cashews and 1 cup of hot water, which we soaked it in. And then 15 ounces of green chilies or 1 hot pepper of choice. Those are
Yeah.
your choices.
Oh,
It's either 1 hot pepper or 15 ounces of a can.
no, I think I was wrong. I get the big can and I thought it was 15. 15 is a can of beans, but
Okay.
this is 7. I'm so sorry. This is 7,
Okay.
7 to 8 ounces.
Well, it's just how hot, how spicy you want it, right?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I don't know if doubling this. I'm really sorry I got that measurement wrong. This is really this is my own recipe. It's not written down anywhere, and I'm really sorry that I did not look at the.
So a can of green chilies or
Yeah.
1 hot fresh one. Well, I was just questioning that because even
That's
your
a
little
lot.
can is probably like 4 or 5 chilies, but when they're canned, they're not as spicy, right?
They are not. They are not. It seems like they take a lot of the
All right.
seeds out.
So 4 tablespoons nutritional yeast, juice of half a lemon, garlic powder or fresh clove. I put a fresh clove, onion powder, cumin powder, salt, and chili powder. All right.
Yeah.
Nutritional yeast is going in.
I am on the
Mhm.
nutritional yeast, but I forgot my cumin.
And then garlic powder. Cumin powder and chili powder. Cumin.
And then we are gonna add a little water to this.
Okay.
Obviously, it'll be thicker the less water you add. You can always add
Okay.
more water after, or if your blender.
So
can't-
I try to blend it first with whatever moisture's in it, and then
and
that's
then,
not enough, add more.
yeah, thin it to whatever consistency you're looking for.
All right, nut cheese in the process. Oops. Looks like, let me let someone back in. They lost connection. Back in. Without moisture, it basically looks like peanut butter. Probably just add what, a tablespoon the first time.
Sure. I am done blending, so feel free to move on.
Tablespoon wasn't enough. So there you go. That right there, I just added 2 tablespoons of water to it. First time I did it, it basically looked like chopped up nuts, but now it looks like a cheese sauce. But, oh, do you want it pourable? Because this right here is
Yeah,
thick.
I mean, I do.
Okay, then I'll add more liquid to it.
It just depends on what you're gonna be dipping into it, how.
I think I added too much liquid. All right, let me give it a taste here. Put too much garlic. But
Hot?
yeah, I put 2 cloves.
Yeah.
They were big ones.
And
Luckily,
fresh
the
jalapeno?
longer it sits, because it's got the lemon juice will
Mellow it, yeah.
mellow over time. But right now it's intense.
Were you just about done with your peanut dressing, or?
Yeah, I was just, it's all mixed up in this jar. It's just, see, it's like,
Okay, I'm adding
it's too
some
thick.
water. And one thing that if you add just a little warm water, the one thing that does is kind of heats up those oils in the peanut and makes it creamier.
Yeah, that's what I definitely have to add some. Part of it was the peanut butter was, I think, cold.
What are we
But-
supposed to do with these onions? We're marinating in the apple cider vinegar.
Okay.
That's the herb
Moving on
dressing.
to the third, or that's our last recipe. It's for an herb vinaigrette.
There you go. I added like a couple tablespoons of water to it, and now it's like, it's chunky still, but I could add more to it, make it even thinner. But
Yeah, I mean,
part of it is it's chunky because I didn't chop up the ginger and garlic super fine.
yeah, I did
But
mine pretty.
no, now it's fine. Look, I mean,
Oh,
not
yeah. Same consistency, I think, that
Yeah.
I've got.
So it was just, it needed to be warmed and it needed more liquid. So, all right,
Right.
now we're ready for the herb dressing.
Okay.
So I've got a bowl of onions that have been marinating in vinegar. And these
Yeah,
purple onions, it's interesting. The vinegar is almost
pink.
red as it's pulling the color out of the onions. And then my oil that was in the fridge.
Yes, actually just go ahead and blend your vinegar and onion with your herbs first in your blender.
Oh, I have to clean it out again.
That's what I'm working on.
I'm just gonna use it. I'm just gonna use this little food processor so I don't have to wait. Because I hadn't figured out where I'm gonna put that. I think I'm just gonna cook some well, probably just cook some veggies and pour that over that, or some rice for that cheese sauce. So this herb dressing was shallot or a small red onion, 1/4 cup of vinegar of choice, juice of half a lemon, a cup of avocado or olive oil, chilled works best, some fresh herbs, and if it's a really strong herb, only use 1/4. So if it's tarragon, rosemary, sage, and then of course me using mustard greens, I only have to use a very small amount. So let's see, what am I missing? Juice of half a lemon. That's what I'm missing. What did we use before lemons? I guess we used a lot more vinegar, huh?
I believe so. So we're gonna put our acids and our herbs in the blender and blend them up first.
Oh, so I just can't put everything together and blend it?
Well, I think you're gonna get a better, more emulsified vinaigrette if you blend your herbs and your vinegar first and then slowly pour your cold oil in while you're blending.
Got it.
So I'm gonna try. Set mine up. Oh yeah. My herbs over there. I've got fresh herbs to work with. And
So what do you think, having the oil cold, what's the main advantage of doing that? Just
think it helps
emulsifies
it-
better?
yeah, yep, I think it helps it to blend. Precisely. Moving this guy. Look at it.
That is good.
Which one?
The herb.
Oh, yeah.
This time I managed to keep my sink's full of dirty dishes, but I managed to keep the counter pretty clear.
I just moved to a different counter.
I was like, I looked away and you're like completely at a different spot.
Oh, yeah, yeah. This worked out.
So I do need to, before this cashew butter or whatever cashew sauce gets too thick in the blender, I need to figure out what I want to store that in. Do you have a preference of what you like to use that cheese sauce on?
Well, I'll tell you, I eat beans and rice every morning for breakfast, and I usually put it on that. Any kind of Latin, Mexican dish, that's, that would need a cheese, or that would typically be served with a cheese in America.
The only time I ever had cashew nut sauce was like, I can't remember now what country it was from, but it was served with peas in it. So I got some peas. So I'm gonna.
Oh yeah, that would be really good. Rice and peas and cheese sauce. I'm really putting a lot of parsley in my dressing.
Now, so which of these did you say you keep regularly?
The cashew.
Okay, and so how often do you, do you make it, like how long does it stay good? Or
I don't challenge that too much. I find that it disappears before it goes bad.
okay.
So,
Well, based on me licking this container, yeah.
but I would say I make it every 7 to 10 days. So it would last 10 days. It would last, I would say it would last for 2 weeks in the fridge. Fine. It's got it's got the lemon juice in it, and you're keeping it refrigerated.
All right. I actually think as far as flavor goes, maybe it's just I put too much garlic in this one, but I like the first bat thing we made more than the
Potato.
second.
Potato cheese.
So
Yeah.
I think the first one I might do as a, you know, just as a sauce over things more. All right, I thought I emulsified it, but it's separating already, so I didn't do it right.
Oh, well, or yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe mine will turn out the same way.
So again, what order did you say you basically blend everything together except the oil?
Yeah, and then add the
You
oil. very
slowly
slowly.
add the oil to it. Okay. Yeah, I was in too much of a hurry and I didn't do it slow. So
I recently tried a recipe where you put it all together in one container, use an immersion blender, and then just blitz it for 10 seconds. And it does a beautiful job to make, this is to make mayonnaise. It's pretty impressive.
so I made one that was, it looked like mayonnaise, but basically it was whole heads of, you know, garlic. It's a Lebanese sauce. So it's 3 ingredients basically. Well, if you add salt, it's 4. It's whole heads of garlic, lemon juice, and oil. And so it's like, again, that proper process where you blend together the garlic and the lemon juice first, and then you slowly add the oil to it. And at the end, it completely looks like mayonnaise. And even though it's, you know, the majority of it's garlic, it just doesn't have a super garlic taste because that lemon juice and I don't know. I mean, basically I made that, and for 2 weeks after, that went on everything. And I've made it one other time and it didn't emulsify as good.
Yeah.
So there is a proper, like, make sure you're, I think, again, if everything's cold, if your lemon juice is cold, your garlic's cold, and your oil is cold, it emulsifies better.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I could think of the second time that I did wrong, or I didn't have as much patience pouring that oil in there slowly. But I don't remember what that sauce is called, but it looks like mayonnaise, and it's just garlic, lots of garlic.
That sounds so good.
It does. It sounds amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I'll have to make that again now that I might have here figured out why the second time. I was so disappointed in the second one. It tasted fine, but it quite literally like looked like garlic with pools of oil in it, like the oil separated out.
Oh yeah.
But in the first one, it completely looked like mayonnaise. And that was it. So I wonder if it's just make sure everything's cold and slowly add the oil.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it really does matter.
So I think we pretty much got everything done. Is there any questions from anybody? Any tidbits? We've got someone. I enjoy learning how to make the cheese sauces. I do not normally eat dairy cheese. So, and then Now, did you say at least a couple of these were just, you know, your own recipes, basically?
Yeah,
But I mean, part of it for me, a recipe is just an outline. You know, you figure out the flavors you like, but what I like is the techniques you've helped us learn. So
yeah. Well, I'm gonna mute, but everybody can watch me do the herb.
my
Is it
cheese
set?
is starting to set,
That's awesome.
but I haven't put it in the fridge yet, so I need to do
Yeah. I wonder what mine's looking like. I'm gonna mute just for a minute, and everybody, I'll do this open so you can see how fast I'm pouring my cold oil into here, and we'll see. You know, it may separate too, but I'll try to do it the right way.
Yeah, see, look at mine completely end up separating already. But if I shake it up, now it's back together, but it's not, what do they call it, emulsified together. And then the peanut sauce came out really nice. I just made it right in the jar so I can store it. Oh man. Now I've got two sauces. Yep. Where's my camera? There you go. Two sauces. And yes, she's got real patience. She's just pouring it in real slow. That was definitely my problem. But the other people who cook, did you have any problems with this recipe or anything unique you might want to share? You can type it in the chat or just let me know. Yep. I appreciate comment. I appreciate the suggestions for alternative ingredients. Yeah, very much so. I like using, you know, it seems like a lot of recipes. Yeah, you put it in really slowly. You were real patient with it. I mean, it only took you like a minute and a half, but still.
Yeah, so I made sure that those herbs were good and chopped up first, and yeah, tried to go slow. And the whole thing is just green. It is bright green. Of course, I mean, using fresh herbs. Oh, it tastes really good. It just needs salt and pepper. Salt and pepper is gonna like take this to perfection.
All right. Any final words? Thank you for sharing. I mean, the only time I've ever made nutritional yeast cheese was just basically a gravy that we would put it on pizza.
Yeah.
You know, we'd make a cheese, but it was basically nutritional yeast flavored gravy.
Yeah.
Poured on
Yeah.
cheese.
Well, I mean, really, as far as that cashew cream goes, if you take soaked cashews and add just lemon juice and no water, it will make a very nice substitute for a cream cheese. It's so thick. And then adding a little bit of water and then a little spices, herbs, will just make a wonderful sauce for anything. You don't have to make it spicy. You can make it herby, like garlic and parsley and basil and oregano, and then throw it on top of some pasta or some rice. So cashews are super versatile, and that
particular nut isn't a nut, so people aren't allergic to it. Right?
Yeah.
So
I don't know how many people are allergic to cashews.
right, but
Yeah.
Almonds and cashews, right, are not nuts. They're non-complete formed fruit. So, yep. So, all right. Thank you very much, and we will hang out afterwards a little bit here and eat and chat. But
Yep.